Hi guys, so I wanted to kind of go through this race response method with you so you would understand exactly what to do on your own. So after having watched that video, hopefully you have a little bit of an idea about how a race response is supposed to go. Remember, this stands for Reword, Answer, Cite, and Explain, and I have that large post-it note up on the front board if you need a little bit of help with that or examples of how to start sentences. So the very first thing I did was I looked at my question after I looked at the story. So the question is, a person who can't see the forest for the trees is someone who focuses too much on smaller problems and misses the bigger point. So clearly that someone is Lydia in the story, our main character, and she misses the bigger point and she focuses on the small problems of her sister, Maddie. So the question is, what information from the story explains how the title, Forest for the Trees, relates to the passage as a whole? So I see this word how here, and that tells me this is the part of the sentence I can probably start my reword at. So I did that here. The title, Forest for the Trees, relates to the passage as a whole because. So that's my reword. I now want to answer it. I'm going to do that after because. Notice how because doesn't have a period or a comma near it. That's because the reword is only half of the sentence. So my answer is, it explains Lydia's relationship with her sister, Maddie. So now I could have stopped there. I could have just said that sentence alone, and I probably would have gotten a 1 out of 2. So these constructed response sections on the ECA are out of 2 points. You can get a 0, a 1, or a 2. If you just answer the question with one sentence, you're probably only going to get a 1, and that's if you get it correct also. To get a 2, it's kind of like math. You have to show your work, so you have to explain how you got your answer. That's where the citation of evidence and the explanation come in. So I then decided to cite evidence here. A good way to start these sentences is to say something like in the text, in the story, in the poem, for example. Those are good ways to kind of start it off for yourself so you know how to jump in there. I did not decide to quote anything. I thought there was kind of a lot of stuff, so I decided just to kind of summarize all of it together. So I said, in the text, Lydia focuses so much on all the little problems her sister has caused her. Now, I probably should have added on here in the past, but it is true that it's happened in the present as well. So that was my evidence. Again, I could have left it there, but I didn't tie everything together. I didn't explain how my evidence ties up to my answer. So that's where this last sentence comes in, this explanation. So my favorite ways to start these off is to say, this shows, this proves, the evidence shows, or something like, because of these little problems of her sister, the reader knows. Okay, so those are all good ways to start this section off if you're not quite sure. So this shows how Lydia only sees the small problems of her sister, but not the larger issues that may be going on with Maddie. So notice how this sounds an awful lot like my answer up here. That's okay, that's the point. You don't want to be too repetitious, but you want to basically say, hey, this right here is this proving this. So that's what this explanation sentence is. You're trying to say, I'm completing my thought by proving how my evidence ties to my answer. I highly suggest using this race here on the side or on a slip of paper so you can kind of remember what you've done and what you haven't done and cross them off as you go or underline them like I have here. But just so you can remind yourself, these paragraphs should be absolutely full when you go through. And I want you to see something. When I say absolutely full, notice that this is only 3 sentences long. That's it. R and A are one sentence. C and E are each their own sentence. You can, of course, have longer than that, but this is a nice, full paragraph. I answer every single part that I needed. I gave evidence, I explained my evidence, and I did it all within 3 sentences. That's all you need to do. It's very, very possible. So I want you guys to practice with a partner on the next couple, and then you're going to do the individual one on your own. For these last 2, you're going to be using the poem, The Whippoorwill, here on the back page. Do not be scared by this poem. It sounds old-timey, it's because it is old-timey, but it's totally understandable, and I want you to especially notice this little guy right down here. That's going to make it nice and easy for you in terms of the questions that you're going to be asked. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Good luck, and send me any emails on Canvas. Shoot me a message on Canvas if you're super confused and need some help. Thanks.